Welcome back to Beyond Algorithms. Last time we exposed the hidden risk behind responsible AI checklists. I'll put the link in the comment section. Do check it out for more context on the challenges we are discussing in this video. Today, we are going deeper because the real danger isn't just what AI does, but what we ignore while chasing metrics. When enterprises talk about AI, the story usually begins with dashboards. Accuracy is up, costs are down, efficiency has doubled. On the surface, those numbers look like success. Inside the boardroom, leaders celebrate them. But outside the boardroom, a very different story is unfolding. Customers are questioning fairness. Employees are resisting adoption. Regulators are asking tougher questions. What looks like progress internally often looks like negligence and mistrust externally. That's the illusion of progress. Believing metrics equal success when in reality they can be hiding risk. Dashboards can be blindfolds. So, why do these illusions keep happening? Because most enterprises still treat AI as a data science contest. Pick a single metric, maximize it, ship the model. That works in Kaggle competitions. But in the enterprise, it's negligence. Why? Because metrics only capture one dimension. AI systems are never meant to be single dimensional. Every one of them creates trade offs. Speed versus fairness, accuracy versus explainability, personalization versus privacy. And when leaders reduce AI to just one number on a dashboard, those trade offs get buried. And buried trade offs always resurface as scandals, as lawsuits, as regulator probes, as employees quietly refusing adoption. I have been in reviews where accuracy went up, costs went down, and everyone applauded. But no one asked the real question. Who pays the price when this fails? And it will fail at some point of time. That's not a technical oversight. That's a failure of leadership. Negligence in AI is not a bug. It is a business risk. And when those conflicts resurface, the cost is impossible to ignore. Let's take an example from retail. A large e-commerce company deployed dynamic pricing AI. Revenue spiked, but loyal customers discovered they were being charged more because the system predicted they wouldn't complain. Trust collapsed. Complaints spiked. What looked like optimization was revealed as exploitation. Lesson taken in this case? Revenue gains mean nothing if you bankrupt customer trust. Let's take another example from healthcare this time. A hospital rushed to deploy imaging AI. It promised faster diagnosis, but because results were not explainable, doctors refused to rely on it. Adoption stalled. Workflows broke. Patients were left exposed. So, what's the lesson? If professionals don't trust or can't explain the system, it will sit unused. And in this case, patients ended up paying that price. Let's take another example from insurance this time. Claims were automated to cut costs, but customers in crisis had claims denied instantly, with no human review behind it. Complaints surged. Regulators opened investigation. What was actually celebrated as efficiency was experienced as abandonment. The lesson in this case? Efficiency without empathy is not innovation. These are not random errors. They are the direct cost of ignoring values. Conflict swept under the rugs, return as scandals on the front page. Efficiency without empathy is a reputational suicide. But Before we blame AI alone, we need to acknowledge the other side. Humans are deeply flawed too. Judges show bias in sentencing, doctors make inconsistent calls, hiring managers go with gut feel, and in many areas, AI already performs better. It can reduce bias in codes if used appropriately. It can standardize medical decisions if implemented right. It can evaluate resumes more fairly if done right. Which actually raises a provocative question. If AI can outperform humans, is it unethical to withhold it? We obsess over the risks of AI adoption, but there are also risks in not adopting. The risk of preserving human bias, human error, human inconsistency. And that's not just a missed opportunity. It could be a moral failure. So here is the paradox. Blind adoption is reckless, but avoiding AI is equally dangerous. So the real question isn't if we adopt AI, it's how we adopt it responsibly. And that's where value sensitive design comes in. Remember, the real risk isn't AI replacing humans, it's enterprises replacing judgment with unchecked AI. Value sensitive design, or VSD, has been around since the 1990s. It's not new. It was meant to embed human values into technology. But enterprises ignored it. Too academic, too slow, too inconvenient. They never adapted it to AI's speed and scale. That neglect is now costly. Because ignoring values in design isn't just a gap, it's negligence. And today, enterprises are paying for it in scandals, failed adoption, regulatory heat. So, how do enterprises operationalize VSD? Here is the Enterprise VSD Playbook I have seen work in practice. Step 1. Identify conflicts early. Ask at the start, what values might this system put in tension? We see many examples around us where not asking this question led to failures. Healthcare ignored this. Radiology, AI optimized speed but ignored explainability. Doctors resisted, adoption stalled. Retail did too. Recommendation engines tuned for conversions for increased sales. But creeped out customers, loyalty eroded. What's the takeaway? Conflicts ignored at the start don't vanish. They return later as lawsuits, headlines, customer exits. Step 2. Deliberate and document trade-offs. Trade-offs are not engineering details. They are leadership decisions. Banks reduced accuracy slightly to improve fairness. They documented it. And when regulators asked, they had proof. A global insurer built a framework. They automated low-risk travel delay claims, but kept medical emergencies human-led. That reassured regulators that empathy wasn't left to algorithms. Takeaway? Trade-offs happen whether you acknowledge them or not. Leaders who document them build defensibility. Leaders who don't, they build liability. Step 3. Embed governance. Remember, intentions fade, governance sustains. One hospital added an override log to its imaging AI. Every disagreement was tracked. Blind spots were uncovered. The trust increased. Retailers are running fairness checks to catch bias before it becomes a scandal. Government agencies are piloting independent audit boards to review high-risk AI systems. These aren't optional anymore, they are becoming mandated. If you look at takeaway, without monitoring, oversight is theater. With monitoring, oversight becomes reality. Step 4. Institutionalized responsibility. This is where enterprises grow up. Some tech firms require ethics reviews before AI launches, just like pharma requires clinical trials. In Europe, insurers embed compliance officers from the start, not as afterthoughts. Global manufacturers are piloting AI red teams to stress test models before release. They treat AI risk like cybersecurity. Takeaway here is simple. When ethics are baked in, they steer decisions. When ethics live only in glossy reports, they are just PR. So, why should leaders care? Because the stakes are massive. Regulation is tightening. The European AI Act allows fines up to 7% of global turnover. US regulators are also accelerating. Reputation is fragile. Scandals don't trickle, they explode. Billions in value can be gone in days. Adoption is also fragile. Employees won't use AI they don't trust. Customers won't accept decisions they can't contest. Competitiveness is also fragile. Enterprises embedding VSD scale faster. They avoid costly rollbacks and build stronger trust capital. This takeaway is important. Ethics isn't compliance, it's strategy. And it doesn't stop there, it's also a survival. One final observation. In enterprises, I have seen successful leaders share a pattern. They know which values they are prioritizing and which they are compromising. They ensure trade offs were not left to engineers alone. Compliance, HR, customer voices were at the table. They can show how trade offs were documented. So when regulators or customers ask why, they have evidences, not excuses. They have clear processes for appeals and overrides. Because trust collapses if people feel powerless. And they revisit these choices regularly. Because regulation changes, expectations do evolve. Yesterday's defensible decision may be indefensible tomorrow. Important to remember, leaders who do this scale responsibly. Leaders who don't gamble with their company's future. Let's revisit the key takeaways that we can carry from all these details and experiences. First, AI adoption is not just about metrics, it's about values, trade offs, and leadership. Second, value sensitive design is a practical playbook for responsible, scalable AI. Do use it. Third, trade offs are inevitable. Leaders who document and revisit them build trust and defensibility. Fourth, governance, monitoring, and institutionalized responsibility turn good intentions into lasting impact. Fifth, ethics is not compliance, it's strategy, and soon it's survival. So, the real danger isn't AI replacing humans. It's enterprises replacing judgment with unchecked AI while pretending trade offs don't exist. AI adoption isn't about eliminating conflicts, it's about surfacing them, debating them, and embedding responsibility into design. That's the essence of value sensitive design. And it's how enterprises build AI that performs, untrusts, and lasts. If you found this useful, please subscribe. Because in Beyond Algorithms, we will keep unpacking not just the risks of AI, but the strategies enterprises need to adopt it responsibly. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, and see you again in the next video. Meanwhile, let's keep building AI responsibly.